Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to review round 9 of the 2024-25 SuperCoach NBL season. A bit of a disappointing week for our team after a couple of weeks on the up with a 298, which was just outside the top 20% for the round at about 4,000. And also seeing us fall outside the top 1,000 overall. So still in the top 6%, which isn't the worst, but we want to see our season rank with 3 digits. So if we have a look at the team, I guess poor captaincy choice did not help us. Doolittle, after I guess his big week last week, we backed him in on average and didn't really do the business for us with just 34. So I'll try and have a look at his 2-game return. So 3 with 8, so maybe got injured. Haven't checked any news around this yet. This is all pretty sort of fresh reaction. So that's unfortunate, but I guess an easy trade out candidate this week. Pinder was quite impressive with 55, well above his average. Henschel on the bench at 44, so, we had a Perth player on the bench that could have done a better job. And our cheapie Higgins Titcher didn't play. Harrison, we traded in this week, and 42 was a decent return. Not, I guess, what we were hoping for, given he averaged 30 before this double week. Menenga with 20 off the bench. He's on the double this week, so we'll use him. Jackson Cartwright, I think I did see a little social media post. This was his worst score for the year with 25. But Cook was our other trade-in and was quite good with 68 across the 2 games. So I think that's a win there. Hickey with just the 1 point. I'm not sure what's happened there. Let's have a look at his little stat line. So he did play 16 minutes. So he's been down in minutes the last couple of weeks, but I think that's just an anomaly. I'm not sure Illawarra. Yeah, they do have the double this week, so maybe we give him one last chance. And Pepper with a 14, off a double isn't probably ideal. You can see he is leaking a bit of cash too. Let's have a look at the matchup. So I snuck a win in over Fully Sick by 2 points. So tough week all round. So I didn't have that, non-playing player, but Steindl got a 0, so did play, but just didn't score any points. Cooks is a VC 31, so he could be a useful number this week. And then after that, I guess all the big hitters we had the same. So probably just Harrison was the difference maker there for me. But surely some better scores in the league. You can see a 346, 347. So it looks like, swipe right on Pinder, top scoring with a 347. So I had Steindl as well, so possibly left some points on the table. Glover got a 9, but Cotton 71. So getting Cotton back in, worked out well. If you were following the late mail and got on that trade. So you can see the Ashura, although coming 20th, maybe just has abandoned the team, but that worked out well, captaining the great man. But I am him with the 346 as well. So captained Harrison and still managed to get there. So I had Pinder, Cook, Henschel on field, and Doolittle. And then Almanza 23, so that's half that. So 46 is a good return for the Spanish cheapie. Had Jackson Cartwright on the bench, so that's not too bad. Milton Doyle scoring a 40, which is nice. Yeah, so there's some good results there. But we'll have a look at the trades for this week. So with the fixture list, Perth on the double, Sydney on the double, I'd imagine the top 2 targets are Bryce Cotton and Xavier Cooks. And if I scroll down, sure enough, you can see those are the 2 guns there. The question is, who do you trade for? Doolittle seems to be the obvious one, particularly if he's injured. After that, Pepper's a bit cheap. Cook and Harrison, they do have some doubles coming up. Like they do only have the single this week, but then 11 double, 12 double, think even 13. Yep, double. Could keep going. Potentially 14, double. So, I mean, obviously you do have the trades, but I think it's worthwhile holding those two and looking to potentially trade around them. So we do have a bit of budget as well, which is nice. So we might actually be able to pull this off if we trade Doolittle out, and we'll just put Cook straight in. So we have 100k or close enough to in the bank. If we go by average, I think Cotton will float up a bit further. Maybe not. A bit down on average. So this does bode well. So only at 323k. So we should be able to swing it. So we do have to trade out a guard. So Jackson Cartwright's on the double. We're keeping him this week. Cook on the double next week. So we're happy to hold him for a week. Hickey on the double this week. Pepper on the double this week. So I guess the obvious choice would be Pepper. But that would involve us using our final boost to do another trade to potentially, make the last little bit of cash maybe. We could just trade Hickey. He is on the double this week. Actually, so let's just complete this trade and I'll go back and have a look at the fixture real quick. So Illawarra obviously the double this week, and then single 11, single in 12, double in 13. So probably not worth hanging on for how long. We can probably, catch the dip maybe. He will dip in price with this one. Break even of 69 this week. You imagine he would dip a little bit in price. So I think the obvious call is to just make that trade. Why am I going by overall? It's probably not smart. Average. We'll get him a bit close to the top. So lock that in. And just looking across the team, it is looking pretty nice right now. So we've got Jackson Cartwright and Cook and Cotton. So with Cook on the single, we'll put him on the bench. But, the guard line is pretty stacked. Potentially, could do with an extra forward. 43k, probably can't do a great deal. Menenga on the double this week, probably better off. Well, I guess we could potentially use Pinder in his place. Who else is on the trade options? So Bateman's super cheap at that mid-range price. Or sorry, good break-even, I should say. Zakarski starting to come good from his, sort of start. Jalen Adams is always one to consider, but we're pretty set at guard. So a few guards there I've just noticed. Windler from Perth as a forward. So yeah, I don't think it's worth too much concern. I guess if we filter out, just look at forwards and centres, because as I said, we've probably got the three big guards. Jack White's obviously injured, hurt. Is probably one. If Southeast Melbourne rather, their fixture swings, Harrell would obviously be quite nice if we could afford him at the 36 average. Vordenberg's still up there in terms of overall points. Maybe I should swing it to average, it's probably smarter. Yeah, so Harrell. Magne's doing okay, back from injury. So I guess maybe Harrell is the top target. Hurt, probably, the second target in terms of those centre forwards. Having them in our team, I think would be a nice sort of, all-round team. Obviously, we're a couple 100k off that, but we still have, quite a few trades to get through and probably, a few rounds before they become targets. Well, maybe not, because Adelaide has a double round 11. So potentially got to find a way to bring in Harrell next week. But I think we're good for now. In terms of captaincy, now we've got sort of three big hitters all on the double. It does become a little bit more interesting. So I probably should have a proper look at, how the teams are traveling. But I know sort of based off preseason that Cairns wasn't predicted to do fantastic. So Sydney has a nice matchup. New Zealand with 2 games away. Not sure how that affects Jackson Cartwright. But I think the 2 games at home for Perth sort of means it's pretty easy to go to Cotton. And with the, the sort of time before, maybe Jackson Cartwright as VC. Not that, you could probably use Higgins as the captain. Potentially if he's still out, I'm not sure what the story is there. It's always a bit risky using the loophole in NBL because you do want to have 10 scoring players, which is actually probably a good argument to look at a cheapie to replace Higgins this week potentially. Because what trades did we do? I can't remember now. So traded out Doolittle and Hickey. So yeah, so we'd have to find a bit more cash. I think that'd sort of be trying to downgrade Pepper as well. Let's just have a quick look at break-evens in case there is something that we're missing. So Bateman's here quite highly. And so Zakarski would be the downgrade, but it's not much of a downgrade. There doesn't seem to be really any bottom dollar cheapies that are cropping up. Obviously, if you do know of one, let us know. You've got Foxwell, but yeah, averaging 3, I'm good with skipping that. So yeah, I don't know. I think we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I guess anyway, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts about it, get the team in the picture. Feel free to throw a comment in down below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the NBL content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.